It was the day before the night before Christmas as I stepped out into the din of the marketplace. I'd gotten up early, packed a small bag, and I was getting ready to head to the airport, but flights were delayed. It was foggy out, so I took my time. When I got there, I headed to a small restaurant in the check-in area and ordered a plate of scrambled eggs. Scrambled eggs were quite good. It was bone-chilling cold, even inside the airport. So I put my hands in my jacket pockets. There was announcement after announcement. No flights were leaving. I looked down into the waiting area and saw actor Steven Seagal pacing. After about 2 hours, I got up and went to the airline desk to ask how long the delay would be. Nobody was there, but the door behind the desk was open, so I stuck my head inside. 2 men occupied a small office. One was at a desk, and another was huddled next to a kerosene space heater reading a book. Its title was in Russian. The man at the desk invited me in to join in their warmth. He introduced me to the reader. "This is Sergei," he said, "your pilot. He's from Kyrgyzstan." "Maybe in 1 hour," said Sergei. "We take off. What kind of computer you have, Macintosh or PC?" "PC," I answered. I asked him if he was on the internet. "Email, not web," he said. "I live at the Russian embassy. Connection too slow." Our aircraft was a retired Army helicopter owned by a company in Kazakhstan. I jammed myself onto a bench packed with fellow passengers. Dividing the cabin and the benches was a wall of crates of produce and other foodstuff, a box of Cadbury chocolate bars, backpacks, and duffel bags. There were a few words of English in the emergency instructions, but most of it was in Russian and Hindi. The flight attendant passed around a big ball of cotton. We plucked off chunks of it to use as earplugs. He also passed a plate of caramels to chew so our ears wouldn't explode. The cabin was not pressurized. The chopper rattled and rose above the Kathmandu Valley, above the fog, above the exhaust of Indian-made Tata buses with portraits of Narsinga, a ghastly Hindu fright face painted on their transmission differentials, and honk please emblazoned on their rear panels. Earlier in the week, I'd seen a Tata stopped in the middle of one of the main thoroughfares of the country with its driver sitting on the road in front of it. The engine block was next to him, and all the cylinders had been pulled out. Traffic skirted around the man as he performed his on-the-spot ring job. We rose above the snow level and settled down in a village where the rest of the passengers de-choppered. On the way back, we would pick up a man on a stretcher here who was on oxygen. We took off again, just Sergei, my assistant Diane, a crew of 2. We had chartered the chopper to go up further on a photography expedition. Higher we went. I found that I had to untwist my body to get bigger gulps of air, which was thinning rapidly. Below stood villages, seemingly uninhabited, covered with snow. We flew over a Buddhist monastery sitting high on a ridge. Sergei said that this was as high as a helicopter could go. We threw open the windows, and I chased from one to the other, gasping for air, trying not to miss a view. The flight attendant grabbed my shoulder and pointed outside. "Everest," he shouted. It was higher than our helicopter-safe altitude, but the air was crystalline and it looked close enough to touch. A delicate trail of snow puffed off its summit. I switched on my camcorder and screamed into the microphone.
"Happy holidays from the top of the world. This is about as far as this ticket will ever go on a trip like this. I'm kind of out of breath now, but that comes with altitude, I guess. We don't see any Santa Claus up here, or his 9 little yaks, but we do see Mount Everest. And this was what I guess you could call a peak experience. Again, happy holidays from Mount Everest.